Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages 16 and up, welcome to the one and only Super Slam. The most revered and reviled set ever is coming to local game stores near you. Whether you want to play a Bumbling Hulkster, a Superstar, an Underhanded Cheat, or a vile Savant, I'm going to show you how you can win more games with these four heroes at your pre-release and beyond. Pre-release is the best way to get your hands on the heroes before Super Slam officially releases. The game's pre-release kits are a phenomenal product to help you participate in the pre-release season, whether you play at your local game store or take it home to play with friends and family around your kitchen table. Each pre-release kit has everything you need to play Super Slam sealed, including 8 Super Slam packs and a special promo pack. The promo pack contains a cold foil playset of the set's generic equipment, double-sided hero tokens, and the aura tokens you'll need to play all 4 heroes. But that's not all. You'll also get an extended art cold foil promo that can only be played by one of the 4 heroes in Super Slam. You'll either get Old Leather and Vim for Tuffnut, Uplifting Performance for Pleiades, Offensive Behavior for Kayo, or Spew Obscenities for Lyath. These are incredibly powerful staples, so you may even want to pick your pre-release hero based solely on which promo card you pull. During Super Slam Limited, you'll remove the first card in each pack, which will either be a basic card, or a legendary, expansion slot, marvel, or cold foil. Besides the heroes, the first card in each pack cannot be used in your limited decks. As you open your packs, you'll want to create a Brute, Guardian, Revered, Reviled, Generic, and Hero-specific pile. Once you've opened and sorted your 8 packs, you'll want to look at the quantity and quality of your piles, but we'll talk more about that in a bit after we've looked at how Super Slam is designed. Before we get into the main topic, I want to talk about Codex Journals. I've been using my digital journal to track my Flesh and Blood games since it first came out. It's helped me improve immensely, going from 2.4 in February to 5.0 at my most recent armory. The archetype theory pages in the journal even help me break down the heroes for today's script. If you want a Codex Journal for your own improvement journey, visit codexjournals.com/bios and enter code BIOS for 10% off your order. This is one of the best ways to support my channel outside of becoming a channel member on YouTube or Patreon. Anyways, back to the video. Super Slam is unique in that it's the first limited set without any weapons whatsoever. Our Revered and Reviled heroes have to solely rely on the cards in their deck to reduce their opponent's life totals to 0. There are 2 Brutes and 2 Guardians in this set, with 1 Revered and Reviled hero for each class. Each hero has an ability that can be activated by tapping them. Since these abilities are instant speed, they can be activated on either player's turn as long as your hero is untapped. These abilities define how each hero wants to play the game. Revered heroes care about the crowd cheering, while Reviled heroes want to be booed. Dozens of cards throughout the set will cause the crowd to boo or cheer. In response to the crowd's antics, Tuffnut becomes tougher, Pleiades gains confidence, Kayo becomes invigorated, while Lyath becomes mightier. With the 2 classes and talents, Super Slam is a rectangular limited set, with 46 talented cards available to either the Revered or Reviled talents. There are 42 Brute and Guardian cards available, in addition to 28 generics. The generics can be utilized by any hero, no matter their class and talent affiliation. Additionally, each hero has 6 cards that can't be used by anyone else. For instance, only Tuffnut can play Numbskull Charm, as it requires your hero to be a Revered Brute to play. As you're deciding who to play for your pre-release, you'll want to look at the kinds of cards you have in each of your piles. Super Rares and Majestics are good reasons to lean towards one of the 4 heroes. However, keep in mind that pre-release events are low stakes, to open packs and learn the new heroes, so the most important thing is to have fun. Outside of your hero and equipment, pre-release decks need to be exactly 30 cards. However, any extra cards that match your hero's class and talent can be changed in between rounds. Super Slam has plenty of cards that get stronger against certain classes and talents, so it's ideal to bring in a few tech cards once you know who your opponent is playing. At this point, you're well on your way to having a great pre-release, but we'll break down how each of the 4 heroes prefers to play the game, starting with the easiest and ending with the hardest. Our Revered Brute Tuffnut is probably the most straightforward hero to play in Super Slam Limited. Despite his 3 intellect, Tuffnut makes up for it with an incredibly powerful hero ability. Tuffnut's instant ability lets him pitch the top card of his deck by tapping, helping him make up for his below-average intellect. In true Brute fashion, Tuffnut cares about 6 power attacks. In fact, the crowd will even cheer if the pitched card has 6 or more power, creating a toughness token for him in the process. Tuffnut's toughness tokens make him an incredibly powerful mid-range hero. The tokens bolster his defenses, helping him block attacks that would otherwise present awkward breakpoints. He generally wants to block with 2 cards in hand and use his ability to pay for the last attack. Toughness tokens are so important to Tuffnut's game plan that he wants to stack his deck with as many 6 power attacks as possible. Yellow 6s with 3 defense are premium, as they can be used to attack or defend and create a toughness token when pitched from the top of his deck. He also loves cards like Dig In, Heroic Grit, and Humble Entrance, which can help him stack even more toughness tokens. Tuffnut's main downside is that he's often pitching an unknown card from the top of his deck, rather than a known card from hand. Fortunately, Vigor tokens can help smooth out his resource curve in case he flips a red off the top. Garland of Spring is Tuffnut's best chess piece, letting him utilize it on a crucial turn when he's short on resources. Vigorous Smash-Up is another phenomenal card that can provide a Vigor token on defense. In addition to Vigor tokens, Right Behind You and Tough Smash-Up can help him navigate his 3-card hands by making sure the ideal card is on the top of his deck for his following turn. Tuffnut's ability also has amazing synergy with cards that care about 6 power attacks in his pitch zone. High-Pitched Howl, Rough Up, and Vigorous Roar are phenomenal cards for our Bumbling Hulkster, while Buck Wild is an excellent arsenal target for high damage setup turns. Overall, Tuffnut is easy to pick up and play, so he's a great option for players of all skill levels. He's able to tank hits better than every other Super Slam hero, helping him win long games when both heroes are playing towards fatigue. However, he can struggle into Lyath and Pleiades when they set up large amounts of evasive damage with their confidence tokens. Kayo, or RKO, is probably the second easiest hero to play and build in Super Slam. However, even though a Reviled Brute can be straightforward to play as, he can be tough to play against. His hero ability lets him pay 4 resources at instant speed to change a target attack action's base power to 6. RKO's ability can be done in the reaction step as well, increasing the base power after opponents have already declared blocks. This keeps opponents second guessing, helping RKO play as a tempo-oriented hero. While his ability costs a hefty 4 resources, RKO can threaten its activation by holding a single card in hand with the single Vigor token. Since he creates Vigor tokens whenever he's booed, RKO can often threaten his ability with a single card in hand, even if it's a red that he wants to save for later. Because his ability changes the base power of attacks to 6, he wants to run attacks with lower average base power to increase the value he gains from using his ability. When booed, Kayo can increase Red Mockingblow's total power to a staggering 10 damage, helping him close out games against unsuspecting opponents. As a Reviled Brute, RKO gets access to Might tokens, which add additional power to the base attack. Cruel Ambition and Mighty Bone Knuckles can generate 3 Might tokens at once, enabling Goon Battery, Goon Beatdown, and Goon Tactics. This cycle of cards is incredibly powerful for RKO. Bask in Your Own Greatness is another great Might generator, providing additional power to Kayo's follow-up turns. Flex Strength and Flex Speed have synergy with Kayo's ability as well as the Might tokens, getting additional value whenever they have at least 6 power. In the late game, RKO can surprise opponents with hidden damage. He can steal games with unblockable pings from Concealed Object, Unexpected Backhand, Cheap Shot, and his Cheater's Charm following a 6 power attack on offense. While Kayo can be resource intensive, he wants to run a good amount of blue block 3s to maximize how often he's able to utilize his ability and increase the value he gets from each activation. Since he doesn't have an inherent way to get booed, he also wants to run enough cards that cause the crowd to boo him. Horns of the Despised is a phenomenal headpiece that gives him an on-demand boo and vigor token for the turn he needs it most. Clench the Upper Hand, Turn the Crowd Hateful, and Boos are a few other cards that can invigorate his turns. While easy to pick up, RKO can be tough for opponents to face effectively. If you find yourself against RKO, keep track of when he can use his ability. In the late game, it's important to know just how much he can realistically pump his attacks at instant speed. Pleiades is our superstar revered guardian. She gains confidence whenever the crowd cheers her on. These tokens prevent her opponents from defending her attacks with more than 2 non-block cards, giving her access to evasive damage. Her ability revolves around timing suspense auras properly, so we should probably talk about those first. Suspense auras are a new mechanic in Super Slam. These auras enter the arena with 2 counters. They have effects that can activate when they enter or leave the arena, as well as continuous effects that apply on both turns. Suspense auras are powerful both offensively and defensively, being the first instance with block values. However, as instants, they won't get the defense buff from toughness tokens that she generates as a revered hero. As instants, suspense auras can be played on either player's turn, allowing Pleiades to play them at the perfect time. Tapping at instant speed lets her remove counters from a suspense aura she controls. If she wants, she can transfer counters to another continuous aura of suspense, multiplying the value she's able to extract from them. Pleiades typically wants to use her hero ability to keep her continuous auras around, or make sure that her suspense auras pop on a critical power turn. Similar to RKO, Pleiades' ability can often catch unsuspecting opponents off guard. Pleiades will need to supplement her suspense auras with high damage efficient attacks. Because of this, she'll want to keep about half of her deck with powerful 3-cost attacks. Conditional 3-for-8s like Comeback Kid, Turn the Crowd Grateful, and Power Play are phenomenal tools for Pleiades. Cries of Encore, Up on a Pedestal, and her Thespian Charm can help her get even more value from her cards and combat fatigue. Act of Glory, Edge of Their Seats, and Tension in the Air are incredible when they pop alongside a Confidence token, often providing evasive double-digit damage. Pleiades prefers to take counters off these auras to accelerate her big damage turn, while keeping her continuous auras around even longer. Helm of the Adored is a phenomenal headpiece for Pleiades, especially on turns where she has a powerful attack ready and buff auras ready to pop, allowing her to maximize the evasion gained from her confidence token. While Pleiades requires difficult timing of suspense auras, she can also play a more mid-range plan. With toughness tokens, Pleiades doesn't mind blocking with 2 cards, pitching a blue to send 7 and 8 power attacks in return. We saved the most difficult hero for last. Our Reviled Guardian Lyath is one of the most difficult heroes to play in Super Slam. Even though he boasts 5 intellect, his hero ability lowers the quality of his individual cards. Because Lyath halves the base power and defense of cards he controls, he can be susceptible to fatigue. However, he can get around this limitation by playing a combo-oriented game plan, setting up big turns that deal more damage than his opponents can possibly defend at once. Since Lyath's attacks with 3 and 4 base power both come in for 2 damage, Lyath typically prefers to run yellows and blues over reds. He rewards good deck building decisions that maximize the overall value of his cards. Offensive and defensive buffs get around this limitation, including the might tokens that he generates whenever the crowd boos him. While his instant speed hero ability is often used defensively, it can also be used as an on-demand buff when attacking with cards like Low Blow and Mocking Blow. On defense, Lyath loves to pitch a blue to pay for his ability in defensive cards like Toby Jugs and Brothers in Arms. Liar's Charm is another phenomenal tool for Lyath. He often uses it to turn off his own debuff, catching opponents off guard by restoring the base power of his attacks at instant speed. Lyath prefers running attacks that naturally buff themselves. Attacks like Feisty Locals, Punch Above Your Weight, and Power Play get nearly the same value for Lyath as they do for other heroes. Like Pleiades, Lyath utilizes confidence tokens and suspense auras to pump his attacks to massive amounts of evasive damage. Lyath does best when he can coordinate these auras to pop alongside might tokens on a single turn. Cruel Ambition, Escalate Violence, Bask in Your Own Greatness, and Mighty Bone Knuckles are great tools to help set up Lyath's combo turns, transforming his superior intellect into brawn. Lyath's buffs and auras help bolster his powerful attacks in a similar way to RKO. Reviled attacks like Goon Battery, Beatdown, and Tactics get extra power and on-hit effects whenever he controls 3 or more auras. His Guardian Tower attacks, like Cut a Long Story Short, Cut the Small Talk, Cut Off at the Knees, and No Tall Tales, get on-hit effects whenever their power is buffed to 13 or more power. While difficult for other Guardians, Lyath can make the most out of these attacks. As a Reviled hero, Lyath is the first non-brute to get access to Intimidate. Instill Fear, Sadistic Scowl, and Leave Them Hanging make it extremely difficult for opponents to block out, while Bully Tactics makes it nearly impossible for opponents to stop his massive amounts of damage. While tough to play, Lyath can be incredibly rewarding for players who can set up massive combos to maximize his 5 intellect. Whether you're a new or returning player, I hope this guide has been helpful in breaking down the Super Slam heroes. With Super Slam, LSS has designed 4 engaging heroes who are sure to appeal to all kinds of players. Whether you're playing a tanky brute or a wizardy guardian, today's tips should give you an advantage as you build these heroes in both limited and constructed. For more content like this, don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll teach you in the next one.